afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, Hero Psych Defender of the Fatherland. Your Lord and Master, your true Redeemer. Off here to 2 vs 2 on Crossing in the Woods. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. The setting is somewhere on the western front, close to the Hürtgen Forest. The Allies are pushing ahead here with a combined task force with Americans and Brits forming up a force here of the 3rd Armed Division, backed up by the 7th. Dan and Derrick. In this case, with Royal Engineers Mobile Assault Commander Regiment, Tactical Support Infantry Company, and Airborne Company. In the south, we got the Germans with Thoton and FireandTerror. Forming up here, the 15th Panzergrenadier Division. FireandTerror possibly calling himself, that could have very well been the very first word spoken out, when he was a child. I imagine much the sheer either excitement or terror of his parents. I mean, it really depends on how sort of persons they are, really, when you think about it. We got here fortifications, elite armoured, breakthrough, assault support, storm doctrine, Jaeger infantry. It's the fluffy kitten Basil doctrines he's got there, though. Probably not, since Basil's just right in front of the screen right now. Seems to have found his current new favourite resting spot is between my keyboard and my screen. We got a big push in the east from Thoton. In the west, FireandTerror leads the way with Grenadiers MG42s. We got here the British from here. We got a very, very early trench here for Dan, digging around an interesting spot. By the way, makes it a bit hard for him to move his vehicles about and hang on. Also, if anything sort of weird happens, it's because Basil's placing his fat ass on either the keyboard or my mouse, and right now he places sizable kitten posterior on the mouse. So I just had to extricate it from behind that tiny ball of fluff. Tank checks up here. You can see both allied players are preparing ahead of time here to deal with the Crouch, the Jerrys, the Nazis. Force to dig in here with some sandbags in the west MG42 pioneers. I hope we got Grenadiers trying to take up positions at the sniper nest as the section trying to clear it out from any Germans. Not particularly worried about their snipers or not, because they're going to murder them anyways. Up north here against Foxtrot still being bled out as Derrick there just keeps applying pressure on Thoton's unfortunate Fox Grenadiers. Alright, skirmishing here in the far west. We got a bunker being dug in here by FireandTerror. Hard at work. That his Grenadiers dig it out. They're wondering where the bloody pioneers are. Yeah, I've heard about the Grenadier Pioneer battalions, but this is nuts. And yes, German divisions would have had them, but not Panzer divisions or Panzer divisions, though. Fun fact. Basically, Grenadiers trained in the art of pioneer work as well. Fun fact. And I actually believe it might be something the German army still does, too. Though I'm not 100% sure about that. We got the 3rd Grenadier Squadron there for FireandTerror. Thoton with 4 Fultz Grenadiers. Triple rifle mortar out here for Derrick, and Dan with just triple section of the Universal Care. They're putting pressure on the Germans. Flanking about here, pioneers and second Grenadiers coming up the flank. The same before 2 deals to the Universal Care, ever threatening the German Heimat. Force there being sort of slightly put apart. German pioneers really got a try on the way there for Thoton. Might be Belgrove headquarters, might be mechanised. We'll find out in a few moments. And west though, this lines are slowly crumbling, but there you go. Cactus here, Dan's infantry section of machine guns pushing the back, though he has already taken ahead. He's going for the sniper, they're trying that way. Blast out the Germans, snipe them out and clear out the machine guns that way. And lots of Grenadiers in that very small snipers nest alongside the corpse of Jürgen. Realising they've probably got better places to be that also stink less of Jürgen, who did not smell pleasantly while alive and did not begin smelling pleasantly while dead. Grabbing the centre victory point here in the east, mines being laid down, as they're moving up. So far the Germans seem to have won the first initial few skirmishes here against the Allies, so of course that can easily turn around here on the battlefields of Western Europe. We got the Warspite here to burn out the Germans, makes it harder here for FireandTerror to dig in. He goes for Storm Doctrine. FireandTerror living up to his name to an extent, a believer in the power of the storm. None of that, shamanistic stuff. We're talking storm assault with grenades, shooting, pew pew bang bang. The best kind of storm. Ram standing out in the mortar fire. We got minesweepers out there for Derrick. Skirmishing going on there. Ground points in the centre in the west here. MG42 being sniped out, also getting burned up. But there you go. Martin baited the Panther Falcon, and he gets it. And a huge fireball, and good God, did he just moonwalk on his head even as he was dead? Either way, that looked sort of impressive. Look at me, Ma, I'm gliding on my head. Oh, yes, I am dead, Mother, and oh, so are you. That explains it. Fulton's about to flank out, P, continue finding an eastern fuel point. Interesting enough, neither of the Allied players are continuing trying to sneak through and sort of flank up behind either German position. They're very much believers in the good old head-on attack. None of that, you know, fanciful flanking stuff. That's for the Germans to do. Only Nazis flank seems to be, at least so far, their, shall we say, political opinions. Troops are being pushed back. Back here, troops reinforcing. Truck is up. And this is the mechanized regiment here for Thoton. Means looks Puma possibly. Causing battles here to twitch excitedly. Ooh, Pumas. I like Pumas, it seems to say. Got a sniper here ready at the back there for FireandTerror. Been moving the east, got the Fulton moving ahead. Ambulance healing reinforcing, and we got there the lieutenant for Derrick, Dan, with not much else going on. It's not hanging back. They're still waiting for the British one to pop his head out and then get it popped off. Sections moving about there. And we can see that FireandTerror's playing a bit of a dangerous game with the sniper. Like, he's obviously trying to draw out the sniper, but at the same time, can't just, you know, pop back in case of a slight threat. He has to, like, play it really, really cool, because we can get rid of that sniper fast as possible. That's going to be a big win there for FireandTerror. He needs a bit of skirmishing back and forth here. So far, the Allies are still not. Oh, looks like here, down here, suddenly realising there's another path to take. Might be trying to exert it as the Germans. Though FireandTerror is quick to plug it up. And we also got ambush camouflage with machine guns. Great. Also happens to be a surprisingly good counter to snipers if, you know, you don't get spotted beforehand, like here. There you go, catching the sniper a bit. Other sniper trying to keep ahead here, using the terrain to avoid detection by the Allies. Like a very stealthy fellow, he creeps forwards. 6-pounder gun hang back. We got the sniper movement as well there for Dan. At least we got the forces running about here. Lieutenant moving up. Forces need to be careful. Got a few assault rifles up here for Thoton, who's yet to go for Doctrine though. Yet to go for Doctrine. Looks almost done. Snipers that are just waiting amongst the tree line. Like some sort of serial killer, but just waiting for that right target to appear. They called him the Zurich Stalker. He was known for waiting for his prey. His prey? As a snipers. Yeah. It's not much of a serial killer, but rather a guy doing his job, but you know. It's the Allies. So you always gotta make it big. Anyway, Section then been pushing back the sniper spotting, of course, pretty much ruining FireandTerror surprise very rudely. Going ahead and spotting the sniper like that, just, that's so rude. Admittedly, when it comes to sniper, you're always trying to be as rude as possible to the bastards. 6 machine gun bunker there, defending the fuel point practically collapsed here under the weight of Dan's assault. And there we go, we got elite armored out here for Thoton. Immediately pops out here, signal relay. Looks tripping about. There we got the 2-2 on the way for FireandTerror to deal with it. No half-tacks, no regal ones, at least for now. Grenadiers backing up here with more Grenadiers, Pioneers, and of course the sniper. Now, of course, exposed, his cover blown, his existence known. You can see there, Thoton decides to sneak in some support here for FireandTerror. Sending in his looks there for a bit of light support to moving in. They could possibly try and rush the Allies there in the west. British player, that is. You got machine gun on the way there. We got elite armored and storm here for Thoton and FireandTerror. The Allies have yet to choose anything there. Looking about, they can see Dan's fallen a bit back for now, possibly sensing something brewing. And in the east, we got there Derrick advancing with absolutely no German resistance, so that's about to come in a big wave of a counterattack. Booster moving in, catching the rifleman there, pushing up forward to the west. We got machine gun there, noting hold fire, though in this case it can't really move through cover stealth, so it holds surprises room. But there you go, still manages to sit up there. Grenadiers occupying the trench, and there you go, pops it and unleashes hell upon the Tommies, and then comes under fire from the anti-tank gun. In the east there though, Thoton is losing ground. as he's finding it a bit harder to gain foothold in the face of American defense with the 50 caliber. And FireandTerror loses a grenadier squad here to the Tommies. Small casualty, though the sniper's still up. Alive, machine gunner getting a bit more exposed. Heavy cover's gone, even on the light cover. Basil laying himself down on the mouse cable. Cheeky kitten. Which makes it a bit difficult to move the mouse, unsurprisingly. 5 kills on the looks, and just had to check because Basil's in the way. Section numbers the 2-2 armored car now opening up here, firing in through the sides there. Through what essentially is not really a wall, and technically that of course means the section should be gutted, but of course due to the Garrison's work that's not the case. There's an invisible force field at work, I suppose. 6-pounder gun there ready to blast. The base now only has the house in for cover. That's just somehow trying to escape. There we got Panzers away there for FireandTerror. Very good choice here, very good. Got the rest of the infantry sections if they do not have any upgrades in. With upgrades it still works pretty well. Whoops. In the east there, the northeast, Thoton makes very good progress against the Allies. Hitting the eastern fuel point, hitting the eastern victory point. And going to need to be careful, because it's also about to go down. The rifleman goes off. And the 2-2 is finally down here. FireandTerror puts his luck for 2 fire and was struck down by the hand of the British. In the east, Thoton has extended his front line quite aggressively, but not really done much to begin with it, meaning theoretically Derrick could push him back easily, though they really should consider some more flanking here. Like so far, the Allies seem very adverse to the idea of flanking. Very adverse. Shot on the way there for Thoton, that's only with the spare punch quarters. FireandTerror though has yet to take up further. Going for the medic bunker here, which of course can also benefit his teammate, probably why he angled it specifically like this, so Thoton just needs to pop over there and also get some medical support on the west contact going in. Now they're opening up, standing in the open. He is no longer afraid, or FireandTerror is not paying attention. Comes delivers the section here. Section almost taken out here, section flanking the sniper, and there you go. FireandTerror is barely able to pull him out alive. There was a very close call there. Had the section with a slight bit of condition. Really had some Bren guns that could have very well been an ex-sniper, leaving FireandTerror, I imagine, a bit sad or possibly a bit furious. And living up to the whole FireandTerror thing. The Zuga team's ready here, all ready for Derrick. Noting again, neither player there, or the ally player, this is good for Thoton. Ketnev gets good on the half track and could very well take it out. Pop it goes. Rocket exposed to munitions and the crew. Back here, troops seeming reinforcing. Take up fighting going on there for FireandTerror. Thoton's truck is. Where is it? Oh, here. Might be planning to set up a spare Panzer course to cover the cuff point there, at least that way, securing resources. Panzer's hiding out. They're good used by way of ambush camouflage from the Panzerguns. They actually benefit a lot from it. Basically, any unit with a sort of high rate of fire actually benefits notably from ambush camouflage. Like, it just really gives them a nice accuracy bonus, meaning they effectively just become a lot better in those few moments. So Panzer Grenadiers, upgraded Grenadiers, unupgraded Grenadiers actually don't benefit from a ton, but even like, say, light machine gun Grenadiers can really do a lot with it. Heavy machine guns obviously as well. Plus, of course, say a sniper managed to, get caught by it, you used to have a good chance of killing him. So, I mean, in many ways, ambush camouflage is just a really great ability. It's great to see someone like FireandTerror to put it to use. Another 5th cover there for Derrick. Down there, floating a bit of resources. Obviously, doesn't want to just keep spamming stuff. But, I mean, he could consider maybe, some caches instead. I mean, there's no reason to be floating a 1,000 manpower. UCC built fuel cache to support himself and his teammate, ensuring they can get out more tanks faster. Bomb grenade here, attempted ambush completely flopped here for FireandTerror, causing a full rout here. Moving up here, I mean, Dan can actually pretty soon go for some tanks. In fact, he can go for the Cromwell right now. If you want to do here versus Thoton on the FireandTerror. Thoton now is being bogged down in the east. He's being to suffer heavier casualties here versus Derrick. And the 3rd Armoured Division is then applying heavy and heavy pressure on the Germans. The 50 carbs is definitely proving to be an issue here. The Lieutenant, all the BRs as well. It's making much harder for Thoton to have some, say, equal engagement. He's going to need Obersoldaten or some other heavier firepower to deal with Derrick and the Rifleman, because right now his men are getting gutted, slaughtered. And overall, while the Germans are sort of doing well in the early-ish game now here, as we're sort of transitioning to the mid-game, they are beginning to suffer a lot more. Casualties beginning to appear, attrition, and fatigue setting in. Let's say trying to return to the late game modes already as fast as possible without pull ahead. Light machine having some impact there, catching the Toms out and then with the sniper retorts, killing poor Friedrich. Cromwell almost done here, but still, really think like you should be using some of that manpower there again. I can understand why I play like the Brits. Again, it's a bit like with the Oberkommando West at times, like you can end up flowing so much manpower because you don't have a lot of other things to necessarily use it at times and you don't want to risk it. Plus, if you play correct, you can end up pursuing quite a bit of manpower, but still, fuel cache in this case would really be amazing here for Dan. Either way though, the Allies are just pulling it now. They've got most of the map. The Germans have just been pushed back. But we got a Panzer here for FireandTerror for the fatherland. As all this was happening though, he was pushing ahead with Panzers for Germany. And there you go, first armoured altercation, there you go, first shot there, Panzer IV miss, oh, Cromwell misses, Panzer IV hits. 6-pounder gun though also hits, and that quickly changed the engagement against the Panzer IV, as it's down to a quarter of health in less than a couple of seconds. I mean, absolutely brutal there. And he's barely able to salvage his Panzer IV, losing it that quick would have been pretty catastrophic here for the German army. Thoton is still some time off from being able to go for a Panzer IV. And it's certainly going to be quite some time here due to the whole resource situation here. Sappers on the way for Dan. Very good, very good. But still, he should be building some caches or spending his manpower something. There we go. Cash up. In this case, I feel like it's done more about experience than anything. Like, he's got so much manpower, I feel like get away with a bit of a risky position. He just wants it done fast. So, I mean, you know, better there than I suppose right up the nose, though. This would still be the best position, but, you know, I can understand this. You know, I can see the logic behind it, but I'd not call it advisable. And there we go, more manpower being expended. Another cache that's being built, so he's suddenly beginning to push some of that manpower. Good, good. I mean, you get those occasion situations, you just end up floating a lot of manpower if you start trying to pay a lot of attention, and particularly in team games, so like you might be trying to figure out what's happening with your opponent's situation, teammate situation, should reinforce, should you not. So I can see it, but you know, it still feels a bit much. But there you go, second fuel cache up. There's going to be 2 fuel caches very rapidly. That's going to be a sizable fuel advantage then for them if they use it correctly. That's going to be very difficult for the Germans to deal with. That's going to be quite tricky. Brian flanking up behind the machine and hammering away, and I think he's actually building a third one, at which point I think 3 fuel caches is a bit much this fast. I mean, I think 2 is sort of the right number, but in the end still that is 3 fuel caches, and that is on top of the fuel points, and the way they're now currently laying is a massive, that is a humongous difference here. One grenade off. It drops while he runs the ambush. Generally what you want to do is actually order them to attack rather than to 5. He just sort of allows them to free fire. In most cases the ambush bonus does not trigger. It's a bit of a weird thing. I have to actively order them, which, you know, may slightly misclick, you completely ruin the ambush anyway, so it can be a bit finicky. We got orbital out here for Thoton. Machine sitting up here. Holy smokes, 4 fuel caches? Oh, he seems to like stop there at the 4th one, or he needs to cancel it. So either way, they are getting a massive fuel advantage over the Germans now. They are stockpiling so much fuel, as opposed to this very British, since the British very much, thanks to how Montgomery viewed things, really stockpiled a lot before making any pushes, as opposed to this sort of, you know, feels very British. Six-pounder going down. They really should cancel just to free up manpower. Away we got another tank away. There's a Firefly here for Dan. Alice probably is to go for Docton. We are closing on the 20-minute mark, and it's sort of, you know, a bit dithering about. Panther getting good help on the Cromwell. Smart getting off a hit. That's jamming the third ring there of the Panzer IV, leaving Otto there a bit scared. Ach, scheiße, she jammed it! She jammed it! Is it strawberry jam? I don't mean that kind of jam, you Dummkopf! Still making a bit of progress in the east as well. Slow creeping ahead, slow, careful, measured assault here by Thoton. No sign yet for him. We got Lux, we got the Struggles Fruits, but nothing to sort of really do with his Docton. And we got howitzers on the way here for FireandTerror, laying it in for the fatherland. Firing into the base here, hoping to shatter the remnants within the base there. Good work. But, I mean, good. I mean, it's generally something I don't always recommend because, A, it's firing at long range, plus you don't usually in line of sight, so it's actually very inaccurate fire. So it can actually, in a lot of cases, end up being a wasted artillery fire, though of course it can put some psychological pressure on your opponent. Though I'd just as much argue actually killing your opponent infantry with artillery puts as much psychological pressure, if not more, than just doing that. So, I mean, you can sort of argue both ways. But he's got the Firefly out there, also known as the Sherman BC. There's also the Sherman IC, which I believe, depending on which version of the Sherman they actually make the Firefly out of. It's a little fun fact. Then we got Doctrine. It is Assault Commander with Assault being chosen. Interesting choice there. Could possibly be wanting to time the reconnaissance here with a air supremacy operation. Doesn't activate the munitions for it. On the other hand, it does allow him to just quickly rush out his troops to the front line. Has a quite extensive time there, so he can actually just get his troops from base to the front and still be able to pull off a pretty spirited attack there. I mean, good God, I don't know what they're putting in the tea, but I'm pretty sure it's illegal. At least by today's standards. By their standards, probably just, you know, some opium. The Brits loved opium. There we go, Panzer, there we go, launching a more successful ambush, catching the car from there in the bad spot on the east of repulsion. Good work there by FireandTerror. The Salty, ultimately a wild spirited initially, just didn't quite pull through there again, too much time there. And we got machine guns also waiting out. He didn't pop incendiary out, he was just ready to just lay it all out in one hell of a burst. Come on, Tommies, where are you? Where are you? We are ready. Just show your faces and we'll blow some clean. Oh! 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 No! He didn't get it! Ah! So close! He almost got the sniper with the machine gun. Scheiße. I mean, it was firing max range for some reason, wasn't firing right away, but oh well. Still, that was pretty impressive looking. Cromwell on the way there for down to follow up. Derrick still not without a doctrine while he's pulling in armour here. We got the Sherman out. We got the Howitzer signing off there against the Allies, trying to do something to shut up some of Derrick's attacking troops. Panther blitzing in. We got the Firefly moving up. There we go, flanking on the Panther getting 22 shots, an up section there being absolutely gutted. I think he even ran over some of them. Just huge catches there for Dan. Panther actually bounces a shot there from the Firefly. That's pretty lucky. We got tulip rockets up. So those are some sizable loss. In fact, he just lost almost all of his sections there. That is pretty big. In fact, he's barely got any. So that's a huge loss. And there you go, another assault. And I suspect it's simply to set up for the air supremacy operation there. Yep, he's using it simply for the reconnaissance. One aircraft actually gets shot down, but it doesn't matter. The target has been seen. And the RAF is about to just, you know, go all bomber harriers on that artillery piece. Bomber harriers, when you absolutely want to bomb something absolutely to hell, no matter the consequences. There you go, Howitzer gone, alongside a bunker and a lot of foliage. In center pushing up, he big 2 points whilst the Germans are slightly ahead of the Allies. Derrick still remains a bit without a doctrine, troops pushing up from the machine guns. The Germans might also want to the flanking party instead of just rushing into the 50 caliber machine guns. Not exactly the most efficient way of using Germany. And there he goes, tank to the base with a Cromwell. Going here for the far. Stuttgart first gets it. Oh dear. A nasty blow there to Thoton. A bull right here by Dan, especially considering he's barely got anything else left. Losing the Cromwell, even to get the Stuttgart first is going to be quite expensive. So yeah, that was. I mean, it helps his teaming out greatly, obviously. But it's still. I wouldn't call that a great trade-off. I mean, the Stuttgart first, while actually quite expensive, in some ways it's actually almost as expensive as the Panzer IV or the Cromwell there. Actually, it might be. I mean, Relic has some sort of, shall we say, resource convention metrics, the sort of measures, you know, how you actually cost effective is. And roughly, in fact, the Cromwell might just cost roughly the same as the Stuttgart first, according to them. Give or take a bit. So not entirely fully sure about that one. But still would have been better if he actually saved it. But I guess, I mean, saving his teammate for Matilda there makes it much easier for Derrick to manage the defense. I guess there's a logic to it. But again, I'd not recommend that. I would not recommend it in a long time. Troops pulling ahead heroically through the muck, through the blood, through the corpses. Also being flanked by the riflemen, tearing into them with gusto, with glee, and with guns. And there you go, wiping them and grabbing the light machine gun. Their big loss here to the Germans. Almost got the looks here, but he loses the Firefly. That will definitely not be worth it. On the west, we got to push here for the fuel and the victory points. Germans spiritedly counterattacking here with light machine guns and the Pioneers. Ambush camouflage, of course, ready to appear as well. And we got another assault in here. He loves the assault ability. And we actually got another house out here for Fire and Terror. More artillery. So much more artillery. Derrick, though, continues to remain doctrineless. British sniper are proven to be not a nuisance, and we got Stuka bomb drop. Oh dear. I imagine hoping to hit something, but mostly just made a very big crater. Sabbath's following up there for Dan. At least he's replenishing his losses a bit. Here, Thoton rather on the line. You can see his FireandTerror is backing up with the Panzer IV. As he realises Thoton is slowly beginning to crumble. Like a cake left out in the sun. Oh, that makes sense. Right, moving up here with the Panzer IV. Not the Panzer IV Sherman. Luke's falling back here. Thoton is going for the Panther there. Panzerkampfwagen 5. That's definitely a dedication there to German engineering. Ooh, he's trying to get the sniper with the Panzer IV. I think FireandTerror's had enough of that bloody sniper, but right here, OXN's bravely in his Panzer IV there just gets blasted. In fact, gets abandoned, and he's got nothing meeting in the way of this. So theoretically, Dan could grab the Panzer IV and turn it against the Germans. That'd be a bit awkward, but looks like they can't quite get, so he's going to move up the 6-pounder gun he stole from the British and knock out his own Panzer IV permanently. Which is obviously how they would have done the actual war. They couldn't have, salvaged the tank. They would have destroyed it either, with dynamite or something else. There you go. In this case, it was down that did the duty of the job. Derrick, though, remains continually without a doctrine. Moving up here, flanking in, looking for some good hits. But there you go. A surprise by the Panzerkampfwagen. He's actually going for the Panther commander on the Panther. Hello. Going here forward, this Germany gets it easily. German engineering, the best kind of engineering. German engine here, Panzer Commander almost done. But Kedner crew wiped out, bit of a loss here. Looks taking hits from the anti-tank guns. More artillery fire raining down here. FireandTerror not holding back. He's building a second howitzer. He's going for double howitzers. Ach mein Gott. Normally it's the Americans who are big on artillery, but in this case it's FireandTerror who's big on the howitzers. Left only seems how he's going to try and counter them this time around. He can't catch both of them with it. At least he's going to require numerous air supremacy operations to pull it off.
We are losing a sector.
Finally, for the west side pushback section rolling in. There we go. The entire west side is largely open. Looks like FireandTerror lost his Pentagon at some point.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Moving up, far from hanging back here. Victory points wise, pretty close between the Allies and the Germans. Germans just with a small lead over the Allies for now. There you go, second howitzer opening up. Double howitzers. Oh, nicely timed anti-tank gun shot and Panzer sitting the Cromwell in a very awkward position. FireandTerror following up with the Panther. Well, he's not going for Panthers here. He has faith in his teammates' Panther upgrading abilities. I trust in you, Jürgen, and your Panzer. I shall go for the Panzer IV. Do not let me down, Thoton. Not again. Panther's heading out there again with the commander in tow. Is he going to try and... Yeah, he's calling in the... Oh my goodness, we got a coordinated barrage on the anti-tank gun. does. Oh, Derrick realizes he pulls back, but again, the thing is, as you might notice with the soon enough, it has a big delay compared with most artillery barrages, particularly for its cost. As you might notice there, that is a very big delay. Derrick, though, remains without a doctrine. Hands rolling in, pushing them away. We got Jackson out there for Derrick for the 3rd Armoured. Hands for half open, push back, pin up machine gun there on the way. 200 points left for the Germans, now attacking the Allies ahead of the Reich. And up here we got just howitzers blasting away. Trying to silence something here. In the west, a bit of skirmishing here. Tanks being repaired. 6-pounder guns sending up. Firefly hanging back as well. Centre out here for Dan to shred the German infantry, to tear them apart, limb from limb, head from torso. Ooh, machine gun went down into the opposite on the Sturm Pioneers and the Panther. Not good there for Derrick. And he finally goes for airborne. He's got a ton of munitions. I mean, honestly, part of me would think he might have gone for infantry just to, maybe counter the artillery of the zone by calling on the priest. But in the end, he goes for airborne. In this case, calling the P-47s, the US Air Force. Which is a fun fact that Knights have an amazing accuracy against ground targets because the aircraft were not made for it in mind. So they actually had a pretty poor accuracy in a lot of cases, as a fun little fact. Panther moving ahead, he's going to get right from here. There you go, P-47 flying away there, rockets flying all over the place, and the Panther goes down. Artillery fire, the shatters a rifle squad there with a single well-placed cyclo shell. West side, those collapsing under a brilliantly orchestrated attack there from Dan, sweeping away the Germans like dust. FireandTerror here, going for the Stug. In a desperate measure here to stabilise the line with the power of the Sturmgeschütz. Of course, Thoton could try and back up with the Panther, I guess, if things go completely pear-shaped. Panther hanging back. Fighting for the few point here. Victory points remaining very close between the two sides, and we got here signal relay again. Panther firing away. Sometime point calling another telebarrage with it if he wants to. And there goes Sturmgeschütz moving up. Could do with a pin-up machine gun, but there you go. Center within reasonable range of the Sturmgeschütz. Center victim grabbed here. More aircraft sitting about. In this case, I do believe it is one of Derrick's, possibly called him Bemidji. Yes, indeed, just for reconnaissance purposes. It is to actually spot a hit there for another air supremacy operation to hit the howitzer here in the west. Really just constantly calling in bombers to just shatter the howitzers. Of course, there's still one howitzer. About nice coordinated teamwork there, though. Big push here, though. Alice moving in. Here we got another P-47 moving in to cover up the assault in the east. It seems like Stug taking off some hits, but also getting some hits in there. Casualties piling up here. Lots of things in the centre here, but they can't really stop the centre. And it's just basically Stug here to hold back the arm. Interesting enough for the Dan's assault, it's not quite fully coordinated. Actually, showing you can't easily deal with the Stug. Got the Panther moving to back it up, though. The defence, just in case, in the east line is slightly holding, but it's not holding very well. Let's bring in there to Panther fast, also Magnum to a fire line, the Stug to follow up. Firefly rocket flies, and Stug somehow survives. Stug somehow survives for now, anyways. Another push here for the centre victory point. Quite a lively match, so lots of air support from the Allies and a lot of artillery from FireandTerror. Thoton, I even called in some artillery as well. There you go, the Crom on the move, another Crom on the way here for Dan. Of course, the Allies still at least have 2 fuel caches operational, so they're still getting a lot more fuel than the Germans. I mean, they're getting 42 versus the Germans 13. That is a big difference. That is a more than 3 times difference. Thoton again for a Panzer IV to back it up. They need to get the fuel point in. They also need to somehow catch the Allies off guard and just shatter them. Panther taking hits here from the Firefly, closing in on Veteran G2. FireandTerror's howitzer just continues to blast away. You should probably consider another Stuke to back up the first one, that way lay down some more devastating fire against Allied armor. There you go. Cromwell pushes too far ahead. Panther misses though, gets flanked here by the Firefly. Veteran G2. Oh yeah, he might push it too far, and there you go. Cuts it down, cuts it down. Firefly cooked up. Panther barely pulls it off there. He even used heat rounds just to ensure the success, though technically a Panther not even used heat rounds. They're genuinely used by tanks with low velocity cannons to help compensate for it. You know, for example, early model Stukes of Panzer IVs, in fact, it came to a great surprise to the Russians in 1941 when they began, well actually 1942 I believe, when the Germans began using them against the Russian tanks. They suddenly reached the safe acts, suddenly weren't. But by 1944 I'm pretty sure most Panzer IVs and Panthers were not been using heat rounds. Fun fact. Jackson moving about here quite aggressively, claiming the victory points as fast as possible for the fatherland, also the victory of fuel points. Panther being fixed up. We have an additional Sturmgeschütz or Panzer Force here for him. Is he going for tier 4? Looks like it is. Could be a Panther as well then. Bet 24 for the machine gun. Western fuel point secured, 6-pounder gun they're crewing about. Grenadiers are hiding out there again. Nice use of ambush. I would like to use some replacement Panther Grenadiers personally, though if he's going for the heavy Panzer, obviously that's going to be a bigger priority there. Nope. Now he's building another howitzer. Despite having taken up, he's going for another bloody howitzer. Smokescreen? I'm guessing he was using that as reconnaissance to spot ahead here. Was howitzer. Interesting. Are we using bomb? We got Stuke. No, it might have been for Stuke bomb drop. Striking right in the center, wiping the victory point, but also wiping the units next to it. Very explosive, very bloody match here. I'm crossing in the woods. Guns going on the show, and we got also there was a rifle shot fired here from the Panzer IV, blasting a few rifles into oblivion. We also got Panzer Commando and that Panzer IV. Jacked his 2 Panzers with the Panzer Commando. You rarely see that. But he's about to lose the Panzer IV if he's not careful. Looks like, oh, he's about to get lucky he did. And the Panzer IV went down. Bit reckless play there by Thoton. Victory points whilst the Germans are back to his tiny lead over the Allies, but that could still change rapidly. 6-pounder gun crew wiped out, Stuke moving in. He really needs more armor, he needs to get out some Panthers, something soon. Back to double howitzers here for FireandTerror for the 15th Panzer Grenadiers. Panther being flanked by the bazooka team. That was the lieutenant with a bazooka. They call me the bazooka lieutenant. No, they call you Lieutenant Charles because that's your name, Lieutenant Charles. Shut up, Bob. I'm trying to sound cool. Lucky hitting it with a howitzer. Boy, a reconnaissance. He doesn't have the munitions, so he might just be trying to ascertain what the Germans are up to more than anything, rather than just setting up for another bombing run to destroy a howitzer. Target war with the centre, and slight pressing here as well on the west. We got to push in here as well from Dan. Oh, going for the Panther with the chrome, bit risky. There we go, got the Stuke as well there. Even popped heat rounds again just to ensure his chance of knocking out the bomb as fast as possible. Very close to the 2 Panthers forced back. And in the far west, we got the centre moving in there. Outflanking a 6-pounder gun, leaving FireandTerror's western flank woefully exposed. Very bad news there. Great news for the Allies. FireandTerror rushing in Stuke, still in heavy Panzer Corps, additional Sturmgeschütz. Street shoots, misses the center. Shot completely missing the mark there. But FireandTerror is obviously very much determined to finish it off. Betsy 2 there. And this is the Stug. Definitely could have been handled better. This is where some pencils would be great to support it. Panther flying away, they're taking out their anti-tank gun. Dan, this force beginning to be depleted. He's lost most of his armor, bit of got influence and other stuff, but he doesn't actually have a lot left. Comparatively, Derrick's looking better, but even he's struggling here against the German Wehrmacht. And we got another Stug rules out, so the Germans are back to a ton of artillery. Can't imagine that the crew being quite safe about it. Wait, didn't they bomb this place like twice? Why are you being here again? I don't feel safe. Can we get some flak support or something? Nine? The flaks elsewhere. Scheiße. Ooh, Panther almost got hit but didn't quite land it. Instead, flak suffers catastrophic damage in a matter of moments, pushing it down to almost no health. Smoke bombs off again, or possibly, just air reconnaissance to scout ahead for the howitzers, so he knows exactly where to drop those 105mm high explosive rounds. $92 points left. 90 points left. Slowly bleeding out here with the Allies. Dan Sun seems to be starting here to push through, meaning he could be buried on down to Derrick, but Derrick's suddenly on the defensive as well. He's just basically target practice for Thoton's howitzers. And there you go, FireandTerror finally got the heavy Panther squad, and he's building a Panther himself. That's going to be 2 Panthers, 2 howitzers, and a Stukazafuss in a pear tree. Another section out there for Dan. Pioneers moving up straight into the Cromwell's line of fire. Thoton's Panther's back in action. Panther almost done there though for him. So back up his Panther.
Radio crews are on standby to decipher communications from enemy armor.
Nice use of smoke to cover the advance there. Allowing him to grab the victory point. He stalled the bleed a bit. They're buying more time to maybe pull up some other actions. Panther sorted there, and we got the second Panther arriving here for FireandTerror. So that's 2 Panthers in the field, 1 for each German player. 6 Pounder gun landing here on the centre, almost taking out in the west, or east I mean. Bit of skirmishing going on here. Victory points still remain to American, but it might not matter soon if we just can keep the other victory points in hand. And there you go, Stukazafuss fires, rockets blasting away. And there you go, gets the machine gun, gets the mortar. Guarding notable party of Derrick's force composition, leaving it exposed and also leaving the eastern victory point open. This could be what they need to just move in and sort of finish off. You got commanders called in here by Dan much later. In fact, he probably could have gone for that sooner. But oh well. Push to the centre victory point. We got the Panther counter and we got artillery called in here though. I'm not entirely sure who called in. I think it's the Panther. Yes, it's the Panther calling in here. No, the artillery called in has that delay. $56. $55. Commands the suppressors has managed to land off of the machine gun. Sniper seizing the centre victory point with 33 kills to his name. 44. Glider down. Centre victory point secured. 42, 39. The bleed is very hard here on the Allies now. And we got once more signal relay here from Thoton. Very much Chris while the others up to, and there you go, Panther was straight to the Jackson and the Cromwell. We're Would be a shame here for FireandTerror to lose his Panther, but it does look to be exactly what's going to happen here, unless fortune favours him, which it does not. Could have possibly supported that Panther just a bit better, or at least not rushed it in as deep as he did with absolutely no idea what was waiting. Bringing in the other Panther to deal with that to avenge the first lost Panther. And gets to Jackson, avenging the lost crew, and of course the Reichsmark. The Panther wasn't actually that much more expensive to make than the Panther IV. Fun fact, not that much more expensive. I think it's somewhere like 10 to 20,000 more Reichsmark or something like that. Compared to the Tiger tank, was much more expensive, and the King Tiger even more expensive. Ravn almost wiped out. 14 points left. So much artillery, so many rockets and high explosive shells. We got another air supremacy ready here for Dan, but can he actually do anything with it? Pioneers all taking that prompt, and we got the Panther going for the Centaur. Closing in eventually 3 in the centre, victory point being seized in the east to heavily defend it with machine guns, Pioneers and Arcadenafers ready for anything except the flank. And there we go, victory. A brutal battle here on crossing in the woods with heavy casualties on both sides. Lots of casualties, lots of death, somewhere around the 600 to 700 range. Some brutal skirmishing here with many dead and many tanks, and a lot of artillery and a lot of air support, like so much support in that direction. I mean, to an extent, I think the Allies, to an extent, initially just too focused on tank from narrow passage and maneuvered more against the Germans, but the fuel caches were great, though again, he could have those sooner. He could have, not, I think, gone for like 4. I think that was excessive. 2 would have been better. You could have then, gone for Doctrine, so maybe done more with that. And similarly, Airborne Company would have been great here for Derrick soon as well. In that regard, I feel like the Doctrine chose as being so late rather hammered a bit their options, also some of their, advantages. Could have pushed much harder, I think, with Doctrine support when they could have had it, they'd had that sooner. Compared to the jump set, though, sooner I think they did well. There were a few mistakes here and there, but ultimately they were able to stabilise and push back again, and certainly, do quite well. Quite a lot of hard to see for FireandTerror, a bit risky, but in this case did pay off nicely. Was able to deal a lot of damage to the Allies, certainly put a lot of pressure on them. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Spread the word. Spread the propaganda. If you like what we do, you can donate or pledge on Patreon. Every donation, of course, allows me to keep doing this day after day, so do please consider. Links in the video description. This is Imperial LinkedIn. Cheers. Thank you for watching. You all are a wonderful audience. Hope to see you all tomorrow again for another exciting episode. Bye.